Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sri Shailabhijanamburashisinam Sri Krishna Tatatmajam Sri Shailanve Devanatha Sudhya Praptagaman Tatvayam Padabje Narsimhatate Guru Nyastatma Rakshabharam Vitvat Vrinda Chakora Sindiramaham Ramanujaryam Shraye Sriranga Sudha Madhusamaswadayantam Sriranga Mahishi Padapankajatmajam Sulabhashrayam Sada Moda Siddhamadbhutam भजेऽहं गुरुं तं रङ्गनाथप्रियं सुखासनस्थं हृदयाब्जपीठे चिन्मुद्रयालङ्कृतपाणिपद्मं शुभोपवीतं विमलोर्ध्वपुण्ड्रं नमामि रङ्गं गुरुं मन्तरङ्गे नमामि योगसम्राज्ञीं विजयां विजयप्रदां श्रीरङ्गार्धासनासीनां करुणामौमातरं गुरुरूपपरञ्ज्योतिः ज्योतिरूपगुरुः परः अज्ञानमन्दिरं ह्येतत् कुरु विज्ञानमन्दिरं मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः सकृदेव प्रपन्नाय तवास्मीति च याचते अभयं सर्वभूतेभ्यः ददाम्येतद्व्रतं मम मनोजमं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि वेदवेद्ये परे पुंसि जाते दशरथात्मजे वेदः प्राचेतसादासीत् साक्षात् रामायणात्मना. Salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus. We'll commence our session today. In the previous session, we were concluding the Panchachatvarimsha Sarga, 45th Sargam, which is Amatya Putra Vadaha, the slaying of the sons of the ministers of Ravana. If I am not wrong, we had concluded that chapter. Satan pravurdhan vinihatya rakshasan mahabalaschanda parakramah kapihi yutsaranyai punareva rakshasaihi tadeva viro bhijagama toranam. After killing the 7 children of the ministers, 7 sons of the ministers, Hanuman went back to the same Toranam. That is the starting point for him for this entire Yuddham. We will now move on to the 46th Sargam, which is Senapati Panchaka Vadhaha. Just wanted to relate something which struck me is that we are going through a series of chapters starting with killing of 80,000 Kinkaras of Ravana. That is a starting point, isn't it? Followed by about 100 of them in the Chaitya Prasadam. Followed by Prahasta and his son Jambumali. Followed by the 7 children of the ministers. So when we are looking at establishing victory over adharma, we will encounter many obstacles. The very first one, if you see, so what is the victory of dharma over adharma? Is it required, etc.? That is something we all, I hope, are in sync, isn't it? As we can relate to it as an external process of victory of Sat over Asat. In a similar manner, in order to relate Srimad Ramayana to our day-to-day lives, you will see that when Sattvam has to gain victory over Rajas and Tamas, there will be many types of obstacles. And 80,000 is a symbolic number, but you can think of these as the various attractions that pull us away from sattvam. And that is the first thing to win over. And they can come in many different hues and colors in our day-to-day lives. We all get attracted to many different things in our life, especially there will be conflicts where we will have to resolve as to whether this is something which I have to take up or not take up. There will be disputes that we may have to encounter with our near and dear, with our enemies, and so on and so forth. There will be temptations to demonstrate our ego at many points of time, temptations to acquire money over and beyond what is required, temptations to not give anything to others, so on and so forth. These are all you can think of as 80,000 different attractive detractors, as we can call it. And that is the first victory one has to achieve with the use of proper buddhi balam, which is what Hanuman is demonstrating. It requires more than buddhi balam many times in order to, for example, as simple thing as overcoming laziness. We need physical power, physical prowess. We need to have stability in our body, muscles, and so on, to say that, no, you can't be lazy. You have to come out of your bed today and attend Sundara Kandam, first of all. Things like that. So 80,000 is an understatement. That is something we have to win over. Then comes, of course, slightly more powerful. So this 80,000 is possible to adopt all the instructions that Lord Krishna has given in Bhagavad Gita. If you adopt all of that, maybe you can overcome. But there are slightly more powerful people, which is that 100 people that we see in the Chaitya Prasadam. So for that, you need a little bit more rigor. So like that, you'll see the level of fight that Hanuman faces. You can see that initially it will be using some crude weapons, whatever they have, katti, sutti, kapada, ellathayum use pannum. But then as it progresses, you will see that a person like Jambumali is very capable. He uses many different types of arrows. One becomes 100, 100 becomes 10,000, like that, And he tries to counter Hanuman. So there you need both buddhi balam and deha balam. And in a similar manner, if you continue, the 7, sons of the ministers, I'm tempted to think, we all know about Saptarishis, isn't it? Atri, Bhrigu, Kutsa, Vasishta, Gautama, Kashyapa, Angirasa. These are the Saptarishis. And they are all, we would say, highly evolved beings who are eternally immersed in the Supreme Being and in His service. And it is not just nivritti, but they are also capable of pravritti. That is, giving forth to progeny and continuing Bhagavan's wish for Srishti. But in a subtler aspect, they all represent Shaktis. They all represent Shaktis. And their sthanam is our face. You can see the 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nostrils, and the ever-flagging tongue. Okay. So these are the 7 different Shaktis which are very important for our body. At the same time, whatever our mind and intellect and the Jivatma experiences is primarily through our face, isn't it? So these Saptarishis are extremely important for us in the Dharma Margam. Probably these 7 people are the sons of ministers of Ravana, represent their opposite forces, which is you have to win over things which try to pull our eyes away from good things, things that pull our ears away from good things, our nostrils away from good things, our tongue away from good things. That is one way to perceive this, that you have to attain victory over anything that pulls us away from dharma. Tiyadai kekade, tiyadai parkade, tiyadai sollade, so probably it has a correlation here, is what I just wanted to share. We will go on to the Senapati Panchaka Vadha. अतान् मन्त्रिसुतान् बुद्ध्वा वानरेण महात्मना रावणः संवृताकारः चकारमतिमुत्तमां सविरूपाक्षयूपाक्षौ दुर्धरं चैव राक्षसं प्रघसं भासकर्णं च पञ्चसेनाग्रनायकान् सन्धिदेशदशग्रीवो वीरान् नयविशारदान् हनुमद्ग्रहणे व्यग्रान् वायुवेगसमान्युधी. So Hatan Mantri Sutan Buddhva Vanarena Mahatmana. So Ravana came to know that all the 7 ministers' sons are all gone now, and therefore he decided to use Matim Uttamam, the highest level of planning that he can accomplish. And therefore he summoned various Rakshasas now, who are successively named as Virupaksha, Yupaksha, Durdhara, Praghasa, Bhasakarna, and these are all the army generals, okay, Senagra, Nayakane, and he commanded them, he asked them to come, and what did he instruct probably? He said, "O army generals, Sandhidesha Dashagriva, Viran, Naya Visharadane, Hanumat Grahane Vyagran. Your task is to go and somehow capture Hanuman and bring here. Yatasenagraga sarve mahabala parigraha savaji ratamatangaha sakapish sashyatamiti yattaischa khalu bhavyam syate tamasadhyavanalayam karma chapi samadheyam deshakala virodhitam." So, army generals, you have to march along with a large Mahabala Parigraha. You must be accompanied by a large and strong army, he is saying. Okay, idvaraikum paathachu 80,000 plus 100 plus etc. is not enough. This person who we are facing perhaps is not an ordinary person. Therefore, you take along with you a very big army along with various types of Savaji Ratha Matangaha. So take horses, chariots and elephants and go ahead and punish the Vanaraga, Sashyatamiti. However, you have to ensure when you go there that whatever karma, whatever battle you do, it should be in a proper manner. Deshakala avirodhitam. And so this is a avirodhinam. This is the instruction that Ravana gives. Okay. Even if you have to do bad things, you have to do it properly. That is perhaps what he is saying. It should be in sync with the place and time. Okay. You have to ensure that whatever activities you do in the battle space, they should all be properly coordinated and synchronized. That's the message that Ravana is giving. The Desha Kalam is something that we all know is very important aspect of whatever duties we perform. And in order to ensure that there is a goal that we achieve when we do the karma, Desha Kala should never be opposing each other. Nahyaham tam kapim manye karmana pratitarkayanne sarvatha tan mahadbhutam mahabala parigraham bhavedindrena va srishtam asmadartam tapobalate sa naga yaksha gandharva devasura maharshayah. So Ravana is making certain important guesstimates, as we can call it. Okay. Nahyaham tam kapim manye karmana pratitarken. So if I were to judge him again and again, tarkam is what he is saying. Okay, that means Ravana is also not losing his sense of logic. In spite of facing a kind of a defeat there, he has sent so many people and many of them have been killed. But his tarkam is still active. So if I were to judge this person, he is not an ordinary kapi. I don't think he is an ordinary monkey. gauging by his actions. Look at it. Forget about killing so many people. He had the audacity to enter Lanka, which is impenetrable. Okay. And that is something that would have definitely hurt Ravana's ego. So he goes on to say, I will also mention the other slokas now and then give the meaning. युष्माभिः सहितैः सर्वैः मया सह विनिर्जिताः तैरवश्यं विधातव्यं व्यलीकं किञ्चिदेव नः तदेव नात्र सन्देहः प्रसह्य परिगृह्यतां नावमान्यश्च युष्माभिः हरिक्रूरपराक्रमः. So I suspect that this particular jiva, which is a monkey, is probably sent by Indra here. Tapobalat Indrena Srishtamva, probably created by Indra just for the sake of creating terror here. And Yusmabhihi Maya Sanagayaksha Gandharvaha Devasura Maharshayaha Vinirjitaha. So I have subdued various people, Ravana is telling this, including Nagas, Yakshas, Gandharvas, even gods, ascetics, Asuras, with your help. So you should certainly bring him here. So in other words, Ravana is giving a pep talk or motivational talk to his people. One thing he is saying here is that bring him unharmed, without doing any harm. Na sandeha na prasahya parigrihyatam. And ensure that you do not disrespect him. Na avamanyaha harihi bhavadbhihi. Do not insult him. He seems to be somebody who is really capable of doing many things. And Ravana does not want to kill Hanuman because he knows, Ravana knows that Hanuman, capturing Hanuman is the best way to know why he has come and who is this Rama and what is his capability. So Ravana also wants to ensure that, he doesn't kill the messenger who has come. And there are two different meanings. Na avamanyascha. Avamanam pannakuradu. Avamanamnaka we all know, isn't it? We should not disrespect. And the other meaning of avamanam, what we feel here is, manam means measurement. So never underestimate this kapi. I believe that probably suits this thing, because somebody like Ravana, he will not leave any chance to bring down others. Okay. Why will he say, our respect kudupa, ellaரையும் அடிச்சிருக்காரு, போய் அவர் காலில் விழுன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டார். I think Ravana would have told that never, underestimate. Na avamanyascha. Okay. Hanuman's balam, but ensure that, you somehow tie him up and bring him here unharmed. Drishtahi harayah purvam maya vipula vikramaha Vali cha saha sugrivo jambavan cha mahabalaha Nilasenapatischaiva Yechanye dividadayaha Naivam tesham gatir bhima Na tejo na parakramaha Namatirna balotsaho Na rupa parikalpanam Mahat sattva-midam jneyam Kapirupam vyavasthitam. So Ravana is explaining his previous encounters with Vali and Sugriva, and how at that point of time, I have seen so many of them here. Drishtahi hareya purvam maya vipula vikramaha. I have seen many different types of monkeys. They have extreme parakramam, like Sugriva, Vali, and then the mighty Jambavan is somebody who I have met. I have met Senapatis known as Nila, Vivida, and many others. But I have not seen somebody as powerful as Hanuman. This is a statement that Ravana himself is making. Tesham gatihi evam bhima na tejaha parakramaha na. There, whoever other monkeys that I have seen, including who all I mentioned just now, of course, Jambavan is a bear, isn't it? He is not a monkey. But they are all not capable of what Hanuman has accomplished. The speed with which The other monkeys were able to, jump. At the same time, their parakramam is not as equal to Hanuman. Even their matihi, balotsaho, rupa parikalpanam. None of these adjectives hold good for the other monkeys. What are they? Matihi. They are not as intellectual as Hanuman. Okay. In other words, Ravana already knows that somebody who is not as highly intelligent will never be able to create strategies to penetrate Lanka and get thus far and then kill Rakshasas also. So namatihi na balotsaho, nor even their strength or energy or motivation. This is something unimaginable. And rupa parikalpanam, even their ability to change their form at will, right? Kama rupaha. So these are all extraordinary abilities which I have not seen in the other Vanaras. And you should all remember this is Mahat Sattvam Idam Nyayam Kapirupam Vyavasthitam Prayatnam Mahadasthaya Kriyatam Asya Nigraha. Therefore, this particular Rupam of Hanuman that you are seeing is indeed something unbelievable, unimaginable. You take my words, Adin Ravana is saying. Okay, in some sense, if you go back to what Hanuman kept mentioning, isn't it? Hanuman keeps saying that, I am just an ordinary monkey. There are so many other my friends of mine who are 100 times more capable. சொன்னதெல்லாம் பொய் அப்படின்னு ராவணன் சொல்றாருங்க. So he's saying this is the gentleman who you should all kind of respect, manam sammanam kudukanam, and ensure that you take extraordinary prayatnam mahadasthaya kriyatam asya nigraha. Ensure that you capture him by using all your might and power. Kamam lokastrayasyendraha sasura suramanavaha bhavatam agratasthatum na paryapta ranajire tathapitu nayajnena jayamakankshatarane atma raksha prayatnena yuddha siddhiri chanchala. It is something that you should all keep in mind. Kamam lokastraya sendraha sa surasura manavaha. At the same time, he is trying to motivate his Rakshasas. Ravana is trying to motivate the commanders, army commanders that he has, saying that, nevertheless, don't worry, including all the three lokas, along with Indra, Suras, Asuras, and Manavas, none of them is capable of withstanding your powers. Bhavatam agratasthatum na paryapta ranajire. So if you are to get into a battle, it is for sure that your enemies, including all those who we just mentioned, all the three lokas, Indras, etc., they will all not be in a position to withstand your powers. Keep that in mind. However, tathapi nayajnena jayam akankshata rane. So ensure that you use the appropriate strategies, nayajnam. Because this man, Hanuman, is not just powerful, but he is also quite intellectual. So therefore, don't purely depend on your balam or powers. And I'm giving you one more message. Atma raksha prayatnena yuddha siddhiri chanchala. So Ravananke konjam bayam vandadhu ippo. Okay. So whatever Hanuman had done a sankalpam, what is his sankalpam? He kept mentioning, repeating those 4 shlokas, isn't it? We will win over Lanka and ensure that there are no Rakshasas here in Lanka. Avdini, he started to create a sense of fear. That is now accomplished. Hanuman has created that chanchalatvam in Ravana's mind itself. So Ravana is giving this instruction to his commanders that, after all, they are his commanders, army generals. You don't want to lose them in a battle with one monkey, okay? So therefore, he is giving them this instruction that I have trained you enough. நல்ல சாப்பாடெல்லாம் போட்டு பல வருஷம் உங்களை ஜிம்முக்கெல்லாம் போக வச்சு, you are all now extremely capable. I don't want to lose you and my investment in you. Therefore, ensure that you protect yourselves carefully. Atma Raksha Prayatnena. Why? Abdinaka Yuddha Siddhiri Chanchala. I am not sure whether we will win this battle. Abdingirar. So, unfortunately, you will see that although Ravana is somebody who is extremely powerful, even he is swayed by his emotions and he is losing his intellect. இப்படிலாம் பேசப்படாது. If you are the king, you cannot tell they to go and fight, but I am not sure whether you will win. Okay. But you may win because all these devas, etc., they cannot withstand. But finally, you have to somehow protect your life. அப்படின்னாக்கா அவன் எப்படி யோசிப்பான் they would have all gone to toilets immediately. ஐயோ இப்படி சொல்றாரே, how are we going to sustain அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ஃபீலிங் கட்டாயம் வந்திருக்கும். So this is the power of resorting to somebody like Hanuman. When we bow down to him, all the rajas and tamas, they will be shaken. That's the message you can get from this. Te swami vachanam sarve pratigihya mahaujasaha samutpetur mahavega utasha samatejasaha. So these are all people who are extremely loyal to their boss, who is Ravana. And the Swami's Vachanam is something that you cannot say no, isn't it? Whatever the Swami says, you have to accept. Our Sundara, I have to go and fight. Our Sundara, my life is in danger. Our Sundara, okay, I have to somehow protect myself. Idella oditruka avanga thalaila, okay? And what did they do? Rathairmattaischa matangaihi vajibischa mahajavaihi shastraischa vividhaistikšnaihi sarvaischopachita balaihi. So they set forth towards the Yuddha Bhumi, which is the Ashokvanam Toranam, where Hanuman is sitting. And they went along with all their elephants, chariots, and so on. Tatastam dadrushurvira dipyamanam mahakapim rashmimantamivodyantam swatejo rashmimalinam toranastham mahotsaham mahavegam mahabalam mahamatim mahotsaham mahakayam mahabhujam. So what did they see at the Torana is what is explained here. They saw the beautiful form of Hanuman, majestic form rather, of Hanuman, which is Deepyamanam, completely shining. Padapadana Tejasoda irukar Hanuman anga. Rashmimantam, and the Tejas வந்துட்டு and the sun rays reflect ஆகி இவ மேல விழுது. That Tejas, that is what they were seeing there. Rashmimantam ivodyantam swa tejo rashmimalinam. And Hanuman is somebody who is a mahotsaha. The moment you see Hanuman, all your spirits will be lifted up. That's the reason why he is such a... so if you look at the Western India, okay, Bharatasla, they all usually worship Ganesha. But in Northern India, there is and of course in Andhra as well, there is an extreme attachment to Hanuman. And there are many reasons for that. You are seeing all of that here. Mahotsaha, Mahavegaha, Mahabalaha, Mahamatihi, Mahotsaha. You will see some of these in Sahasranama also. Perhaps in those namas, Namavali in Sahasranama, we should think of Lord Hanuman along with Lord Ramachandra or Mahavishnu. Mahotsaha, Mahakayaha, Mahabhujaha. Tam samikshevate sarve dikshu sarva swavasthitaha taistaihi praharanair bhimaihi abhipetustatastataha tasya panchayasastikshnaha shitaha pitamukha shirasyutpalapatrabhaha durdharena nipatitaha. So they started to shower the arrows that they had on Hanuman. And they started to encircle Hanuman there in a manner that you can imagine. Hanuman is a Mahakaya who is standing amidst all these Veeras there. And of course, in order to ensure that they use the right strategy as instructed by Ravana, they encircled Hanuman rather than facing him all in one direction. Okay, that is what we should imagine here. And they started to take out all their weapons one after the other. Many of them, these weapons were encrusted with gold. That's what we see. At the same time, there were also steel ISM அப்படின்னு இருக்குங்க. ISMனா it can mean iron, cast iron. It can also perhaps mean a different alloy of iron. And it is tikshnam. So weapons made of, steel or iron was also used here. And they started to attack Hanuman at that point of time. Satai panchabhiravitaha sharai shirasi vanaraha utpapata nadan vyomni disho dasha vinadayan. So the moment they started to attack Hanuman with all these weapons, they started to pierce 5 of these arrows. They struck Hanuman on his head, and it was kind of hurting for him. And what did Hanuman do at that point of time? He basically jumped high up in the sky at that point of time, and he let out a terrible roar. Utpapata nadan vyomni disho dasha vinadayan. So the 10 different directions, they started to shudder with his roar. That is what it means. And it started to resound in all directions. Tatastu durdharo viraha sarathas sajjakarmukaha किरण शरशतैस्तीक्ष्णैः अभिपेदे महाबलः स कपिर्वारयामास तं व्योम्नि शरवर्षिणं वृष्टिमन्तं पयोदान्ते पयोदमिव मारुतः. So taking, making use of this opportunity that Hanuman, for a moment, he was feeling the pain and he is shuddering there. There's a powerful person there known as Durdhara. He mounted on his chariot. Durdhara mounted on his chariot. He fastened his bowstring, which is what he had as his either weapon. And he started to hit Hanuman with hundreds of different types of arrows. And what did Hanuman do? Sakapihi varayamasa tam vyomni sharavarshnam. So he kept away from all those arrows. He started to deflect those arrows, moving left, right, etc. And the explanation that Kavi is giving is Vrishtimantam payodante payodamiva marutaha. Just like the wind prevents the rain cloud from showering raindrops. So in other words, this is true of places which are parched, which have never received rain for many months. If there is a cloud formation, the elders in that place will hate if there is wind also accompanied by clouds. They know that the winds will carry away all these clouds and they will not get rain. In a similar manner, Kavi is mentioning, Valmiki is mentioning that Hanuman was deflecting all those arrows with his tremendous power. Adhyamanastatasteena duddharenaanilatmajah chakara ninadam bhuyo vyavardhatachcha vegavane सदूरं सहसोत्पत्य दुर्धरस्य रथे हरिः निपपात महावेगो विद्युद्राशिर्गिराविव सः कपिः व्योम्निः सरवर्षिणं तं पयोदान्ते वृष्टिमन्तं पयोदं मारुतः वारयामास. And what Hanuman did was he kept himself far away from these arrows. But at the same time, we should imagine Hanuman is up in the sky. So Hanuman utilized this opportunity and he grew once again in size. And what did he do? In a split moment, he suddenly leaped far off into the air and fell on top of the ratham of this gentleman. What is his name? Durdhara. Just like lightning falls on a mountain. That's the upamanam that Kavi is giving. Nipapata mahavego vidyudrashihi giraviva. Giri naka mountain. Just like a lightning striking the mountain, in a similar manner, thadal nondute, he fell on top of the ratham of Durdhara. what will happen to Durdhara? We can imagine. Tatassa mathitastashvam ratham bhagnakshakuparam vihaya nyapatad bhumau Durdharastyakta jivitaha. So instantaneously, Durdhara, he fell down dead from his chariot. All the horses that were yoked to his chariot, Mathita Ashtaswam, there were 8 horses in his chariot, and Bhagnaksha Kubaram, and all the Akshamnaka and the Yokun Salvam, and the wooden frame of the chariot, everything got destroyed, churnamaitadi, powdered within a fraction of a second. So this is the power of our great Hanuman. Tam Virupaksha Drishtva Nipatitam Bhuvi Sanjatarosho Durdharshau Utpetatur Arindamo Satabhyam Sahasotpatya Vishtito Vimalembare Mudgarabhyam Mahabahu Vakshasya Bhita Kapihi. So seeing the body of Durdhara that is fallen on the ground, Durdharsho, Arindama, who are the Arindama is those who are crusher of enemies. Abdin Solom, Arihi Damaha. They are Virupaksha and Upaksha. And they leapt forward towards Hanuman at that point of time. But the strong-armed Hanuman, Vimale Ambare Vishtita, he had stationed himself very clearly high up in this white sky. Now these generals, these 2 generals, which is Virupaksha and Upaksha, they also leapt into the sky. And they once again attacked Hanuman, Virupaksha and Upaksha, with a couple of hammers. They had 2 hammers with them, and they started to hit or attack Hanuman with that weapon that they had at that point of time. Tayorvegavatorvegam vinihatya mahabalaha nipapata punarbhumau suparna samavikramaha. So Hanuman, who had the prowess of Garuda, suparna samavikramaha, suddenly Hanuman also, he was trying to resist these 2 generals, but he fell down to the ground. Nipapata punaha bhumau, meaning Hanuman is up in the air once again after killing Durdhara, and these 2 generals leapt high in the air and in the sky and hit Hanuman with the hammers. Hanuman fell down back into the ground. Tasala vrikshamasadya tamutpatya cha vanaraha taubhau rakshasau virau jaghana pavanatmajaha tatastantrin hatan jnatva vanarena tarasvina abhipede mahavegaha prasahya praghaso harim. So Hanuman once again uprooted the tree that was next to him, which is the Shala Vriksham. He lifted that Shala Vriksham and Oreadi, he hit the 2 generals, which is Virupaksha and Upaksha, with that Shala Vriksham. And they fell down dead. Both of these, Virupaksha and Upaksha, they fell down dead. Who is the other person that is left there? Who is Praghasa. So Praghasa now took the chance. He advanced towards our Hanuman. And of course, Praghasa tried to attack Hanuman. Along with Praghasa, there is this other gentleman called Bhasakarna. So he also lifted a Trisulam and tried to attack Hanuman. And these 2 people, that is Praghasa and Bhasakarna, they were also very swift and violent in acts of war. So, so just wanted to mention that yesterday there was a wonderful event that we attended at the Bhavans, where we had a very interesting personality in Sri Madhusudanan Kalechelvan. He is an exponent in temple architecture. He's working in HRC in Tamil Nadu government, but extremely committed towards upliftment of temples and architectures, and Dr. Ravi is hosting him. it was nice to see a lecture demonstration on Arayar Sevai. It was really nice to see his extreme interest, passion, dedication towards preserving various arts and art forms. And Arayar Sevai is one such art form. Some of the Iyengars here may know about Arayar Sevai, but just so others know about this, it's an extremely beautiful rendition of Alvar's Pasurams by a generation of people, Bhagavatas known as Arayars. And they are well trained not only in the Divya Prabandham, but these Arayars are well versed in the Vishishtadvaita Darshanam. They are well versed in Puranas, etc. At the same time, these Arayars, they perform in front of Lord Ranganatha as well as other temples, wherever this system is in place. And they bring out the bhavam of bhakti towards the Lord. This is what we heard yesterday from Sri Kalaichelvan. I think the way that this art form has evolved, they have tried to preserve it without recording and so on. You know, it is something which has to be experienced in person. I think the moment those who are, desirous of seeking devotion to the Lord, or if nothing else, at least an appreciation of the art form, we should all visit temples during special occasions and festivals. So just thought of mentioning this to all of you, because I think the deep-rooted culture that existed, we call it as Ubhaya Vedantam in Tamil. That is, it is not enough if you know Vedas, Vedangas. The other aspect is that of devotion and bhakti, which is actually overpowering when you try to understand what Alvars themselves are mentioned in the various pashrams. And these Arayars are supposed to be people who are immersed in that extreme devotion. The moment you see them dancing in front of the Lord, completely immersed, that bhavam also overflows to those who are witnessing it. Perhaps that was the reason why this system started, I think, with the great Alvars. So it was very nice to see the rendition yesterday. So those of you who are desirous of seeing the Arayar Sevai, of course, you have to visit temples, but extremely passionate academics and researchers like Sri Madhusudan and Kalaichelvan, they are trying to spread awareness of this Kalacharam. So that's something I just thought of mentioning to all of you. Not sure if he's around there, Dr. Ravi, but it's thank you for.
No, ready. He hasn't come down. But one thing I can tell to people, 20th of July in Orpington, we have arranged a meeting. It's a free to attend. The topic is Tillayum Tirumalayum. He's going to talk about two temples. One is Chidambaram and the other about Tirupati. Aram Valartha Koilgal, what they did. That's what they did, spread regarding how we have to maintain, preserve our good nature and things like that.
Yeah.
So,
I think those who are, lucky enough, they are close to such great temples, and that visiting the temples, one aspect is that of bhakti, jnanam, etc. The other aspect that automatically gets covered is that of, a lot of physical exercise that you get just by visiting the prakarams. You have to understand the glory of these temples. It will be very interesting to hear as to how these temples were built. There is a reason why many of these temples are really huge, humongous, large, and the moment you enter, you may spend half an hour or maybe even up to 2 hours. You spend a lot of time around the prakaram. I believe after all of that, when you enter the Garbhagraham, all your thoughts, other thoughts will vanish. You will only be left with the thought of seeing the deity. So the temple gives an enormous opportunity for you to do many different things. You can meet with people, etc. But once you start appreciating the architecture, how they are all laid out, and why the Garbhagriha is, something which is extremely inside the temple, we will all be able to relate to all of this. And of course, no better way than when somebody is ready to guide you to the architecture of temples, and if you are able to visit them, then nothing like it. So I think they just thought of mentioning it. Nice that Dr. Ravi is trying to host him and all of that. Yeah.
And I will send the form through this forum. If you want to register, that will be helpful for us, because there is a form to fill up, Google form, so which will be noted down, and it will be between 4:30, 5 and 7 on that day, on a Saturday, 20th, Orpington, inside a hall. Please do attend and enjoy the day. It's going to be predominantly Tamil and English. He will talk about maybe in Tamil, but the slides will be in English, and he will explain in between in English to tell about that.
Thank you, Dr. So we'll conclude our session here today. Yeah.
Abhujant Shri Chakrakundaladharam Kutilakuntalam Shishum Mandasmita Ruchikaradharaputam Purnimaikshanvitam Mukham Sharasyourdhvagatim mudraya vidishan Savyena pranavam dhanum Madhye susthitamugrashyamalamaham Shri Ramam bhaje mohanam Guru charanambuja Nirbhara bhaktaha Guru charanambuja Nirbhara bhaktaha Samsara Chiradava Muktaha Guru charanambuja Krishna Krishna Sendriya Manasa Niyamadevam Rakshasi Nija Hridayasam Devam Bhaja Govindam Bhaja Govindam Govindam Bhaja Mudhamate
Ayena vacha manasa indriyairva buddhya atmana va prakrite svabhavate karomi yadyat sakalam parasmai shriman narayana yeti samarpayami sarvam Shri Ramachandrarpanamastu. Have a great day and a week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Raghavan ji.